Om Sadasamarampham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Adityo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kalpurvyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. So we were looking at the Madhu Brahmanam. We saw the introductory bhashyam in Madhu Brahmanam. Bhashyakara preferred that Madhu Brahmanam also is a continuation of Mananam, because here a different logic is given to show that all that is here is Atma and this entire objective world is nothing but Mithya. Now, what is the logic which Bhashyakara also gave briefly here is you can see here. This is the logic. So the logic is when two things are mutually dependent, paraspara upakarya upakaraka bhutam, that is what is called. So they are mutually helping each other, mutually dependent on one another. Then they both have to then depend on something which is independent of those two. That is the main logic here. And what is the Shruti or Brhadaranyaka Upanishad doing here? It is showing that this entire world, Jagat Sarvam, starting from Prithvi onwards. Prithvi is a Mahabhuta. Starting from all these Panchabhutas, all the beings, in fact, whether you consider the totality, the beings which are identifying with the totality, who are nothing but devatas, are individuals like human beings and other living beings who identify only with this body, correct? Adhyatma. So there are beings who identify with the totality, they are the ones whom we call devatas. So that is called Adi Daivam. Then the individual Adhyatmam. Then the bhutas which make up this entire world, correct? This objective world, with reference to them, it is called Adhibhutam. So any being, we can look at it in all these three ways. Each being can be looked upon, because even in the individual, the Devata is supposed to be manifest. The total is manifest in the individual also. And each Bhuta is also manifest in the individual being. And of course, the individual being is identifying with an individual body, mind, sense complex. Now, if you take from all this standpoint, one being is dependent on another being. One being is dependent on the other Devata. Devata also is dependent on the individual beings. And then the Bhutas are also dependent on the beings, and beings are dependent on the Bhutas. Like this, whichever way you look at it, different ways, different pairs we can take and analyze, you will see that this Paraspara Upakarya Upakaraka Bhutam, that point is there. They are all mutually dependent. And what is implied by saying that everything in this world is mutually dependent? That implication Bhashyakara shows here, even in the world, when we see that two things are mutually dependent, okay, then they are tat eka karana purvakam. They are all they have come from the same cause. Okay, eka samanyatmakam. Also, they are all sustained in one thing, and eka pralayancha drishtam, and they all resolve back into that same independent karana from which they came, the mutually dependent things. Now the Drishtanta for this is, we can give it as Swapna itself, correct? Swapna is a beautiful Drishtanta to prove that, because in the Swapna world also, in the dream world, everything is mutually dependent. But the entire Swapna Jagat is nothing but it is sustained by the waker's consciousness. It came from the waker's consciousness and it will resolve back into the waker's consciousness. So whatever Bhashyakara is saying here, this logic applies. So similarly, the Upanishad is saying, like even the dream world, this waking world also, everything is mutually dependent. Therefore what? It is similar. Okay, it is similar. That means this entire waking world, which has all these Panchamaha Bhutas, different Devatas, different individual beings, all of this is Eka Karana Purvakam, all from one thing. So the other implication is, since they are all caused by this one Vastu, these things become Karya. The word Madhu itself means Karya, I said. Bhashyakara says it is a Karya, means basically Karya also is for what or for whom? Any effect you create, like a pot you create, it is for somebody, correct? It has some purpose and all that. So why is it called as Madhu? Means like Madhu also is a something which we enjoy, correct? Bhogya Vastu. So here also, all these karyas are all bhogya. From one standpoint, they are enjoyed by others. In another standpoint, that karya itself is enjoying somebody else. So the bhogya and bhoktru, that also is reversible in all these things. In fact, that point we saw in 1.4.16 also. If you go back and refer to that. So that's why it is called Madhu. It is a karya, it is a bhogya vastu. And this logic is used in this Madhu Brahmanam to show that this entire world is mithya. In fact, everything is shown as Madhu, 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 like that. The word Madhu is used to qualify the Bhutas, the Devatas, and also the individual beings. Okay, everything is Madhu. And then it shows that again, when we talk about all these Devatas, we have to talk about different Devatas, right? And different Bhutas. So that's how the first Vakya started. What does the first Vakya say? We saw briefly last time. Iyam Prithvi Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu Asyai Prithvyai Sarvani Bhutani Madhu. So first Bhuta is Prithvi. First Mahabhuta is Prithvi. Prithvi itself is a Karya and it is a Bhogya for all the beings who are living in this Prithvi, correct? We all enjoy this earth, but the earth also enjoys all the beings, it seems. Okay. So, as a particularly if you take the Prithvi as a Devata, correct? So that point also is talked about here, where it talks about the Tejomayaha, Amritamayaha, Purushaha, Prithivya. In the Prithvi, whichever self is there, correct? There is a self which identifies with the Prithvi itself as a Devata. That self, that Purusha, that person who is Tejomaya means who is sentient, and who is Amritamaya means who is again living for a long time, because even for the Jiva or the Devata, for everybody, the Sukshma Sharira carries on and on and on. Correct? Only the Stula Sharira we can give up and take up another Stula Sharira, like even in Bhagavad Gita it is said, correct? Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya Navani Grinnati Naroparani. So even if even the shirt which has worn out is thrown away and a new shirt is worn, like then the Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body, continues by taking up a new physical body. That is why it is called Amrita Maya. Not really Amrita in the sense like Brahman is Amrita. And even Tejo Mayaha, it is said it is sentient, it is aware. Okay, but this awareness itself again is an individual awareness only in one way. Okay, it is like the reflection only. Brahman alone is Chaitanyam in the absolute sense. Okay. So this Purusha identified with the totality and also the person who identifies with the individual body, who is also Tejomaya, Amritamaya. Correct? Yascha Adhyatmam, it says Purusha. Now here four things are talked about. Correct? The Bhuta, all the beings. Then the one who identifies with the totality, who is the Devata, Prithvi Devata, and the one who identifies with the individual bodies, who are all jivas, we can say. All of them, correct? I am here means all that was said here, correct? Which makes up this world or part of the world are all Saha. The Saha here is the Atma only. The Atma which is under discussion, correct? So, Yaha, I am Atma. So, this Saha, that which is this Atma, which is under discussion. And this Atma itself is Amritam. Again, Amritam, Bhashyakara gives an interesting meaning here. He says, because this Maitreyi asked for Amritatvam, correct? And Amritam here is, Bhashyakara takes it as Karana Vyutpatti. So he takes it as Atma Jnanam itself is Amritatva Sadhanam. So this Amritam is actually Atma Jnanam. That's the meaning he gives. And then because of this Atma Jnanam, one becomes everything which is Brahman. Idam Brahma, Idam Sarvam. So like this, he gives a connection. So we'll quickly see the Bhashya. In fact, if we see the Bhashya of one here, rest of them do not have much Bhashya, in fact, because it's all like repetition, almost the same thing. Only this Prithvi will become Apaha here, and this particular Devata will become somebody, the Up Devata itself. Like that, it will keep on changing. Okay, and here also, here Sharira in general, but here particularly Retas, like that each Indriya and all will come, either Karmendriya or Jnanendriya, like that. Wherever that Devata manifests, like that it will come. Okay, so let us see here. Yam Prithvi Prasiddha Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu. So this Prithvi is the popular Prithvi, which is the earth here. Bhashyakara simply says it as Prasiddha. And the Prithvi itself is what? Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu. Prithvi is the Madhu or Karya or the Bhogya for all the beings, because all the beings are being nourished by this earth only. Correct? So Bhashyakara, that he says that how Sarvesham Brahmadi Stamba Paryantanam Bhutanam Praninam Madhu Karyam. So he gives the meaning of Madhu as Karyam. So the Prithvi itself is the Karya for of all the Bhuta, starting from Brahma onwards up to a grass. Because in one way the Prithvi itself is manifest only for all these beings to exhaust their karma. Correct? Everybody's karma again becomes a Karana. So that way Prithvi is a Karya, we can say, of all the beings' karma, all the beings basically. And again he makes it clear, Madhu Iva Madhu. So Madhu means it's not literally honey, but it is like honey. Okay. And how? Because honey itself is a bhogya vastu, correct? It is something which we enjoy. It is a karya because it has been produced by so many honey bees, correct? In fact, recently we kept some honey bee boxes and all that in our curriculum also to produce some honey ourselves. Then I was reading up all about this honey bees, very, very interesting, correct? So it is so much effort each honey bee is taking to just create a little bit of honey they bring. But then so many of them, by aggregating all that only it is there. And finally, before they actually drink, we go and take it away from them. So in one way, it looks very bad actually. Okay, but that's how we use all the work of the honeybees, and before they can drink it, we take it away. At least we are not killing them for that. In fact, we feed them regular sugar and we take the honey out, but we don't give them the honey which they actually collect with so much difficulty. So afterwards, if enough food is not available for them, during the lean seasons, we actually create sugar solution and keep it there in that box so that they can drink it. In fact, they do drink it. We also have kept it 2-3 times. But right now it is all flowering season, correct? So right now they are supposed to produce all this honey. Anyway, so here, that's in fact Bhashyakara says that Yatha ekaha madhvapupaha anekaihi madhukaraihi nivartitaha. So one honey bee hive, one beehive is produced or created by many honey bees, correct? Many bees make up this particular beehive. Similarly, evam yam prithvi sarva bhuta nivartita. So this entire world, this particularly the prithvi, earth itself, is made by all these beings only. Sarva bhuta nivartita, he says. So we have to take it as our karma has created this also, or even physically also our actions are making some changes to the earth also. That way also we can take. Okay, but otherwise, if you no, how can you say we created this earth when the earth came? No human being was evolved and all that. If you talk like that, then we have to bring karma into that. Okay, so whichever way you look at it, this Prithvi is a karya of all the beings. That Bhashyakara says. That's why it is Madhu. Similarly, Tatha Bhutani Prithvyai Prithivya Madhu Karyam. Similarly, all the bhutas also are karyas of this Prithvi because we are nourished and we survive because of the all the nourishment and food which is available on the earth, correct? Whatever Mother Earth is providing, those riches only we are also consuming. So that way, if you see, we are all karya. So here you can see it is all mutually dependent. Both are madhu for each other. Further, what kincha yascha ayam purushaha asyam prithivyaam tejomayah chinmatra prakashamayah amritamayah amarana dharmaha purushaha. Then it comes to this further yascha ayam asyam prithivyaam tejomayah amritamayah purushaha. So Bhashyakara says that person or purusha or self who is there in this prithvi, correct? Asyam prithivyaam. And that person is Tejomaya, means what? He is a sentient, aware person. Chinmatra Prakashamaya. So one who has this Chaitanyam, consciousness, awareness, sentiency. And also Amritamaya means Amarana Dharmaha Purusha means this Purusha, the Sukshma Sharira. Here when we say Purusha, that the Chaitanya which is conditioned by the Sukshma Sharira is talked about. That is again not destructible. Even when the physical body is gone, it carries on and takes another physical body and all that I told you. So that's why it is Amarana Dharma. Further, what? Yascha ayam adhyatmam shariraha, and also this physical body of the individual being, sharira. Adhyatmam sharira means sharire bhavaha. The one who is sharira is tatita. Again, that person also is Purvavat, Tejomaya, Amritamaya. He is also a sentient person. He is also eternal in one way because his jiva also does not die when the body dies, and that jiva is what Bhashyakara makes it such a linga abhimani. He says linga sharira means sukshma sharira. Another name for sukshma sharira is linga sharira. Why it is called linga sharira? Because that only indicates that a person is alive. Correct? Physical body may be there, but the physical body, in that body, the shariri, the one who inhabits the body, is there or not. How will you know? That indication is given by which sharira, that subtle body. That is why it is called linga sharira. And the linga abhimani means the one who has identity with that linga sharira, the consciousness which manifests in that linga sharira, and the one who takes oneself as an individual, that person is the linga abhimani. Okay, both the, whether it is totally or whether it is in an individual body, both are linga abhimani. Then further what? Such a sarvesham bhutanam upakarakattvena madhu. So the individual jiva is the one, the sentient being is the one who helps others also, correct? Any conscious being has some role to play. That way, that we talk about ecology and all that, correct? So our species and all, they were very acutely aware of this, correct? When we talk about all this interdependence, basically it is all ecology only. So we all depend on each other. All the species depend on other species. There are so many. If you read biology, it is all very interesting, correct? How one species helps the other. Of course, the relationship between different species also are different ways it is there. In some cases it is symbiotic, in some cases it is parasitic and all that. But still, different species depend on different other species. We all see that all over. So this, whoever is the linga abhimani, that person is again is a upakarakattvena madhu. So he does help to others, so he becomes a madhu for the others. And sarvani cha bhutani asya madhu, and other beings also help this person. Therefore, they are also madhu to this person. And how can you say this madhu? Because madhu is mentioned here and madhu is mentioned here initially, but there is no madhu afterwards, correct? Yascha ayam asyam prithibhyam tejomayaha amritamayaha purushaha is there. There is no madhu after this purushaha. Similarly, here also yascha ayam adhyatmam shariraha tejomayaha amritamayaha purushaha. That's all is there. How did Bhashyakara bring this madhu here? So he says that cha shabda samarthya, because this cha is there, the madhu has to be, we have to bring it here also. Okay. So from this what? In fact, madhu you has to be taken everywhere. I told you already, correct? Different combinations I told you. One jiva depends on another jiva. Other jivas also depend on this jiva. Then this jiva depends on the devatas. Devatas also depend on the jivas. And then the bhutas. So with reference to a particular being, the adhyatmam, adhidaivam and adhibhutam, all of them, if you take a combination, and they also depend on each other and all that, correct? Whichever way you take the combination, it is all madhu only. This is madhu, that is also madhu. Like that, everywhere this interdependence, mutual dependence is there. And so the cha shabda samarthya, because cha is there here. Yes, cha means that madhu you have to then anuvriti is there. Okay, you have to bring it here and understand. Okay, further what? Evam etat chatushtayam tavati ekam sarvabhuta karyam. So these four things have been enumerated here. They are all ekam sarvabhuta karyam. So they are all karya of one. Okay. And sarvani cha bhutani asya karyam. And all these bhutas, okay, they are all the karya of one particular vastu. Okay. अतः अस्य एककारण पूर्वकता. Therefore, what? They are all from the same karana. Okay. Therefore, the original proposition which Ashokara talked about, that he is applying here, because that's what he talked about here, correct? I also here paraspara upakarya upakaraka bhutam and all that. So he says eka karana purvakam. Same thing he says here. So from this, you can understand that these four things which were talked about in this vakya, they are all coming from only one karana. They are all the karya of that same karana. Okay. Therefore, what? So yasmat ekasmat karanat etat jatam tadeva ekam paramartatah brahma. So, because they all are there from only one karanam, they are all born from the same karana, and that one can only be Brahman, because Brahman alone is the limitless Anantam. Therefore, that has to be the Paramarthataha Brahma. It has to be, in reality, the Brahman alone is the Karana for these four. By saying that Brahman alone is the Karanam, what happens? All these things, Karyas, they are all only Vacharapanam, Vikaro, Namadeyam, like that Chandogya Upanishad has said. Therefore, all the Karya becomes Mithya. Itarat Karyam, Vacharambanam, Vikaro, Namadheya, Matram, Bhashyakara. Clearly, he points out these are only Mithya. They are all only names and forms, and therefore they don't have any independent existence. It's all only Mithya. So, Ityeshaha, Madhu Paryayanam, So, Bhashyakara has given the meaning of whatever one has been indicated as Madhu. Madhu Paryaya means so many things have been talked about here as all of them have to understand it in a similar manner. Okay, it is in the same way you have to understand all of them. So we can see that here. So he has given the meaning in a very, he has given it in a sankshepa, means in a summary manner. In a brief manner, he has given the meaning. And then further he explains this part also now. Okay. Ayameva saha yaha ayamatma. Okay. So he says that ayameva saha yaha ayam pratignyataha. The one who was declared in the beginning, correct, as what? Idam sarvam yad ayamatma. Like that in 246. Yajnavalkya taught Maitreyi, correct? Idam sarvam yad ayamatma. That Atma only is now being talked about here as saha yaha ayamatma. Iti. Then idam amritam, that Atma alone is amritam, because again amritam Bhashyakara says yat maitreyaha amritatva sadhana muktam atma vijnanam. So here Bhashyakara takes amritam as not just immortal, but it is the sadhana for amritatva, because that's what Maitreyi really asked for. That which was asked for by Maitreyi, which is the amritatva sadhana, the means for amritatvam. That is Atma Vijnanam. It is called here as Amritam. So that is the Amritam here. Idam Tad Amritam. Then Idam Brahma. And that is also Brahman. This Atma alone. From that Atma Jnanam alone, one attains Brahman. One becomes everything. In fact, Idam Sarvam also. So Yat Brahmate Bravani Yapayishyami Ityadau Prakritam. So again, this Brahman, this Atma itself is Brahman. And that Brahman also is under discussion, because if you go back to the first Brahmana in the second chapter, Ajatashatru Brahmanam, there Ajatashatru says, in fact, Brahmate Bravani is said by the Balaki. Okay. And then later on, Ajatashatru says, I will teach you no. You only know this much. but there is more to this Brahman. So Nyapayishyami is said by Ajatashatru. So like this Brahman only is under discussion anyway. So it is Prakritam is under discussion. And further what? Yad Vishaya cha Vidya, Brahma Vidya iti uchyate. So the Vidya, the knowledge of which is called Brahma Vidya. And Idam Sarvam. And again, by that Brahma Vidya alone, one knows everything. Yasmat Brahmanaha Vijnana Sarvam Avati. So by knowing Brahman, you become everything. Okay. So that Brahma Vidya is talked about here. So this is the Bhashya. Now the next one and all, Bhashyakara doesn't write much Bhashya because it's all similar. So let us quickly see that Ima apaha sarvesham bhutanam madhu aham apam sarvani bhutani madhu yascha ayam aswapsu तेजोमयः अमृतमयः पुरुषः यश्च अयम् अध्यात्मं रैतसः तेजोमयः अमृतमयः पुरुषः अयमेव सयो अयम् आत्मा idam amritam idam brahma idam sarvam. Okay, so instead of prithvi, since apaha is plural, it is called ima apaha. Imaha apaha sarvesham bhutanam madhu. So for all the beings, water also is a madhu, and similarly all beings are madhu for this water also. So apam sarvani bhutani madhu. Okay, so yascha ayam asu apsu tejomaya amritamaya. So asu apsu means what? In this water as a devata, also there is a devata is there, Abdevata, who is again tejomaya amritamaya. And in this individual body also, the water is there in the seed, in the semen. So Raitasaha means the one who is there in Retas, the seed. That Devata, the Abdevata is manifest in the individual body in Retas. And that also is Tejomaya, Amritamaya, Purushaha. The meaning is similar. So Bhashyakara, Tatha Apaha, similarly, Apaha also. Previously we saw Prithvi, now Apaha. Again, Adhyatmam, Retasi, Apam, Visheshataha, Avasthanam, he says. He puts a note that in the body, the individual body, the water as a devata is manifesting in the Retas, Retasi. Retas means semen actually. So Visheshataha, Avasthanam, he says. Specifically, it is manifest there. It is found there like that. Then further what next is Agnihi. So Ayam Agnihi Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu Asya Agnehe Sarvani Bhutani Madhu Yascha Ayam Asmin Agnau Tejomaya Amritamaya Purushaha Yascha Ayam Adhyatmam Vangmaya Tejomaya Amritamaya Purushaha Ayameva Saha Yaha Ayam Atma Idam Amritam Idam Brahma Idam Sarvam. So now Agni as a devata is talked about, Agni as a bhuta also, Mahabhuta. And Agni Mahabhuta again is the Madhu for all the beings, because we very much we depend on Agni. Without Agni nothing can happen in this world. And Agni also depends on all the beings. Therefore they are Madhu to each other. And then within this Agni also there is Agni Devata is there in the totality. And Agni Devata is manifest in this individual body as the Vak Indriya, correct? Vangmaya. So Bhashyakara also says that Tatha Agnihi Vachi Agnehe Visheshataha Avasthanam. So the Agni Devata manifests especially in the Vag Indriya, Vag Vachi. That is what. Then further what next is Vayu. Vayu is the next Bhuta, Pancha Mahabhuta. Ayam Vayu Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu Asya Vayoho Sarvani Bhutani Madhu Yascha Ayam Asmin Vayo Tejomaya Amritamaya Purushaha Yascha Ayam Adhyatmam Pranaha Tejomaya Amritamaya Purushaha Ayameva Saha Yaha Ayam Atma Idam Amritam Idam Sarvam. So again similarly Tatha Vayu and Vayu is manifest in the individual body as prana. So adhyatmam prana. Here bhutana sharira arambakatvena upakara. So again, how madhutvam is there for this devata, if you ask, or the Vayu as a Mahabhuta, means without these bhutas, the body is not there. Correct? All the Pancha Mahabhutas are there in the body. Prithvi is there. That is what is there as solid. Whatever carbon, etc., whatever carbon, etc., is there. Of course, Vayu is required because oxygen, nitrogen, etc., also are required for us to breathe and live. Particularly, oxygen is required. Then we have water. Of course, 70% of the body is water. Water is not there, we'll all be only powder. Then temperature also is required. Without temperature, right temperature, heat, or even the acid which is there in the stomach, that's all Agni. Without that, we can't digest anything. So it is also there. Then again, Akasha also has to be there. If there is no digestive passage and stomach does not have enough space and all that, you can imagine. We cannot even eat and digest anything. So all the Pancha Bhutas are there. So they are all Sharira Arambhakatvena Upakara, he says. That's why. Okay. So Bhutana Madhutvam. The beings are Madhu, Karya of all these Bhutas because they only create this physical body. Further, what tad Antargatanam Tejo Mayadinam Karnatvena Upakarat Madhutvam. Again, the Tejo Maya Purusha, etc., we talk about that. They are only manifesting as karnas in each and every individual body. So that way also, the individual beings, they are again taking help from the devatas. The Mahabhutas at a physical level, we can say. Then the Bhutas themselves have the Abhimani devatas. Those devatas are also manifest in all the individual bodies and different karnas. Either it's Jnanendriya or a Karmendriya, whichever way it is. They are the ones which are manifest. So the Madhutvam is there for all the beings with reference to both the Bhutas and the whoever the Devata, the Abhimani Devata. So that's what was already said, in fact, in 1.5 itself. We saw before, we even had a story about all these different interesting stories were there. In 1.3 also there was some story. In 1.5 also it was there. So tatacha uttam tasyai vachaha prithvi shariram jyoti rupamayam agnihi. So this tasyai vachaha prithvi shariram jyoti rupam mayam agni. So agni and prithvi, etc., you can see here. All of them, those devatas only are manifest as different karanas. Agni is manifest as the Vak, Prithvi as the Sharira, etc. So like this it is said here. Okay, the Sharira of the Vak itself is the Prithvi, and then the Sukshma part of that is the Agni. Like that there, in fact, for each Indriya also they talk about a Sharira, which is the Golaka, correct? In the fifth Brahmana of the first chapter, for each Indriya, they talk about a physical Golaka, correct? Eye also has a eyeball and all that. But eyeball alone is not the Indriya. There has to be a Indriya which is subtle. So the subtle aspect here is Agni, and the Stula aspect is the Prithvi for the Vak Indriya. Like that is said there. So that is what Bhashyakara is pointing out here. So there is both. Here the Stula Sharira part also they are the Karana, and in Sukshma Sharira also they are the Karana. They are manifesting both ways. Anyway, so further what? Ayam Adityaha Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu Asya Adityasya Sarvani Bhutani Madhu Yasya Ayam Asmin Aditye Tejomayaha Amritamayah Purushaha यश्च अयम् अध्यात्मं चाक्षुषः तेजोमयः अमृतमयः पुरुषः अयमेव सः यः अयम् आत्मा idam amritam idam brahma idam sarvam. So again here Aditya is taken. Tata Adityaha Madhu Chakshushaha Adhyatma means the Aditya Devata is manifest as the eye, the Indriya, the Chakshur Indriya in the individual body. That's what Chakshushaha is here. Then further what? Ima Dishaha Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu. So the Dik Devata also is taken here. All the Dik. And Dik is connected with the Shrotra. Correct? So Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu. Asam Disham Sarvani Bhutani Madhu. Yascha Ayam Asu Dikshu Tejomayaha Amritamayaha Purushaha. Yascha Ayam Adhyatmam Shrautraha. Okay, these are all Tadita Pratyaya. Chakshusha becomes Chakshusha, Shrotra becomes Shrautra, Shrautraha, Pratishrutaha also it says. Pratishrutaha, Tejomaya, Amritamaya, Purushaha, Ayameva Saha, Yaha, Ayam Atma, Idam Amritam, Idam Brahma, Idam Sarvam. Okay, Tatha Dishaha Madhu. So the directions are also Madhu, Arya. And again, Disham Yadyapi Shrotram Adhyatmam. So the Shrotrendriya, the Dik only becomes the Shrotrendriya in the individual body. But additionally, Rautraha is said, but Upanishad also said Pratishrutkaha. The meaning of this Pratishrutkaha, Bhashyakara gives the meaning. He says, Shabda Prati Shravana Velayam tu Visheshataha Sannihitaha Bhavati iti Adhyatmam Pratishrutkaha. So of course the Shrotra Indriya is there, but it is specially manifest when the Shrotra Indriya is hearing something. Okay. It is hearing something, it is specially manifest. Therefore, Pratishrutkaha also is said here. So Visheshataha Sannihitaha Bhavati iti Adhyatmam Pratishrutkaha. Pratishrutkaha means he gives the meaning here. Pratishrutayam, Pratishravana Velayam Bhavaha Pratishrutkaha. So whatever is there when the listening happens, okay, that Devata is the Dik Devata. In fact, even in that, when we chant every day, we chant, correct? Hridayam Mayi Aham Amrite Amritam Brahmani. Before Rudram, we chant Lagunyasa. Even there, all these things come. Disho me Shrotre Shritaha Shrotragum Hridaye Hridayam Mayi Aham Amrite Amritam Brahmani. Like that. So the Dik only, Dik Devata is the one who is manifest as the Shrotrendriya, the ears. Then further what? In fact, next is Chandra, who is manifest as the mind, correct? Chandrama me manasi shritaha mano hridaye. Like that, even there it said same thing. So I am Chandraha, Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu, Asya Chandrasya Sarvani Bhutani Madhu, Yascha I am Asmin Chandre Tejomayaha Amritamayaha Purushaha, Yascha I am Adhyatmam Manasaha Tejomayaha Amritamayaha Purushaha, Ayameva Saha Yaha Ayam Atma Idam Amritam Idam Brahma Idam Sarvam. So Chandra is always associated with mind, correct? And here, so the Chandra Devata is taken. Chandra Devata is Madhu, and for all the Bhutas, and all the Bhutas are also Madhu for Chandra Devata. And Chandra is manifest in the mind, in the individual. Adhyatmam Manasaha Bhashyakara also. Then what? Yam Vidyut, next is lightning. Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu, Asyai Vidyutaha, Sarvani Bhutani Madhu, Yascha Ayam Asyam Vidyuti, Tejomayaha, Amritamayah Purushaha, Yascha Ayam Adhyatmam Taijasaha, Tejomayaha, Amritamayah Purushaha, Ayameva Saha, Yaha Ayam Atma, Idam Amritam, Idam Brahma, Idam Sarvam, Tata Vidyut, okay, Twak Tejasi, Bhavaha, Taijasaha, Adhyatmam. So the Vidyut also is taken here. Lightning itself is taken as a Devata. Again, that Vidyut Devata is there in the twak, the skin, okay, as the touch, the these yeah, touch or sense of touch. So twak tejasi bhavaha taijasaha. That's why it is called taijasaha. And with reference to the individual body, it is the twagindriya. Then what? I am stanayitnuhu sarvesham bhutanam madhu asya stanayitnoho sarvani bhutani madhu yascha ayam asmin stanayitnau तेजोमयः अमृतमयः पुरुषः यश्च अयम् अध्यात्मं शाब्दः सौवरः तेजोमयः अमृतमयः पुरुषः अयमेव सः यः अयम् आत्मा इदम् अमृतम् इदं ब्रह्म इदं सर्वम्. So now Sthanayitnuhu. Sthanayitnuhu means some people are translating it as cloud, some people are translating it as thunder. I think both meaning we can take. Okay. Thunder is better, I think, because lightning was there, then thunder has to be there, correct? So thunder means basically thunder itself is a devata we are taking, and then in the thunder is associated with the one who is there in the shabda, in speech. Thunder in speech, and all we say sometimes. Okay. So Shabde Bhavaha Shabdaha Adhyatmam Yadyapi Tatapi Sware Visheshataha Bhavati iti Sauvaraha. So the one who is there in the Swara, in fact in the thundering speech, the Swara is very important, correct? The tone, the intonation and all that. So the one who is specially there in the Swara, that's why this Sauvaraha is said here. Shabdaha Sauvaraha, one who is there in Shabda, particularly in the Swara, like that. The Stanayitnu also is talked about here. Then Ayam Akashaha Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu Akashasya Sarvani Bhutani Madhu Yascha Ayam Asmin Akashe Tejomayaha Amritamayaha Purushaha Yascha Ayam Adhyatmam Vidyakashaha Tejomayaha Amritamayaha Purushaha Ayameva Saha Yaha Ayam Atma Idam Amritam Idam Brahma Idam Sarvam. Finally Akasha as the Bhuta, Adhyatma is Hridyakasha, Hridayakasha. We talk about the Hridayakasha, and here Hridayakasha also means basically the Buddhi only is called Hridayakasha. So Manas, Chandrama is Manas, and Buddhi is Akasha here, is manifest. So here all these Bhutas were talked about. Okay, all Adi Bhuta. So Bhashyakara now gives a note here. What is that? Akashantaha, Prithivyaadayaha, Bhutaganaha, Devataganascha, Karyakarna Sangatatmanah, Upakurvantaha, Madhu Bhavanti, Priti Sharirinam, Iti Uttam. So, up to Akasha, correct? Akashantaha, and starting from Prithvi onwards, all the Bhutas, Bhutaganaha, the group of Bhutas, Mahabhutas, or generally Bhutas, and also Devata Ganas, all the Devatas who are identified with those Bhutas. And they are all what? They are all helping you with reference to your physical body and also the Indriyas, the Karanas, correct? Karya Karana Sangatatmanaha Upakruvantaha. So they are all helping you, or basically you depend on them for the functioning of your physical body and your subtle body. Therefore, all these beings become Madhu, or they become Madhu for you, you become their Madhu in fact. So Madhu Bhavanti Prati Sharirinam Iti Uttam. Okay, so they are all helping you. So with reference to each and every Shariri, the one who is in the Sharira, all these Devatas and also Bhutas, they are helping you. You depend on them in fact. So therefore, you are Madhu. Then what? Yena te prayuktaha shariribihi sambadhyamanaha madhutvena upakurvanti tat vaktavyam iti idam arabhyate. So whatever they have given all these things, correct? The help in terms of having this Karya and Karana. With this Karya Karana, what are you going to do now? Any Karya has to have some purpose, correct? Even honey means somebody has to enjoy the honey. So this Karya Karana Sangata is there. Then what is the purpose of this? With this Karya Karana Sangata, you have to know, do something, you have to produce something. So yena te prayuktaha shariribihi. So the ones who have this sharira, this Karya Karana Sangata, those shariris, those individuals, by what are they impelled and they are doing something, right? They are connected to something, and because of which only they are all active and they are doing something. And madhutvena upakurvanti tat vaktavyam iti idamara. So whatever is impelling them also is also madhu, really. Okay. And that madhu is going to be talked about. What is that? Dharma. Yeah, dharma is going to come next. So Bhashyakara is connecting it like that. So dharma also is a devata. And dharma here means papa punya. Papa punya is the one which is impelling us. We all talk about the prarabdha karma, correct? Entire life starts with a certain prarabdha karma. And that is again many important things in our life. We think that we have made some choice and all that, but it is all you are made to choose in some manner or the other. That's how it happens. In fact, everybody talks about this normal thing. Any Vedanta means there is one question about this fate and free will come. Okay. Fate and free will also we have to understand with reference to this Madhu only. They are dependent on each other, correct? Because to even have free will, you should have a certain kind of birth, like Manushya. Human beings have free will. The same level of free will we cannot say animals or other plants and all they enjoy that, we cannot say that. So a certain karma is required or fate is required to even have free will. And with free will again you are producing your further fate because you are producing more karma. It's all a cycle only. It's all one depends on the other. Mutually dependent again. That is the way you have to understand fate, free will and all that. In fact, too much analysis also we should not do in all these things because it will only lead to confusion. In fact, Paramartha ji used to say very nicely. He used to say that whenever you are doing something, correct, you have to do as though you have the free will. But when the result comes, you have to take it as though only fate. It is fate, correct? Result is fate. While doing, you have free will to do. But when the result comes, it is all fate. It is all fate only, really, correct? Because anyway, the result is a function of both your effort and your purva punya or papa. That is a yoga buddhi only in one way. But he used to say like that. So that this Madhu thing, this mutual dependency, mutual causation, all these things is applicable even in that. You can understand it that way, but you don't have to analyze all these things too much. Bhagavan also says, Gahana karmano gatihi, he says. Karma, karmani cha akarma yah pashyet, akarmani cha karma yaha. Abuddhiman manusyeshu, sayukta krishna karma kriti and all there. In the 4th chapter, he talks about karma, karma, etc. very beautifully. But finally he says, Gahana karmano gatihi. Karma, the gati of karma is very, it's all secret only in one way. It's all unprofitable. Don't have to, in fact, anything in this world is like that. You cannot arrive at any conclusive knowledge. It keeps on going, correct? So, names after names after names. Puja Swamiji used to say, Namni Namani, like that you can repeat anything further into something else, and it keeps on going like that. So you have to understand it as mithya finally. That's it. Okay, whether it is fate, free will, all of them are also only part of this mithya prapancha only. Just see it as mithya and get rid of it. That's it. Anyway, so here this dharma is the one which is impelling you, okay, which is in connection with your body, mind, sense complex and is impelling you to do certain things. That also is one way Madhu, correct? So that has to be said here. That's what dharma is talked about. Ayam dharma sarvesham bhutanam madhu asya dharmasya sarvani bhutani madhu madhu yascha ayam asmin dharme tejomaya amritamaya purushaha yascha ayam adhyatmam dharma tejomaya amritamaya purushaha ayameva saha yaha ayam atma idam amritam idam brahma idam sarvam. So this dharma also is now talked about. Ayam dharma. Again, Bhashyakara, see how perspective he is. So dharma, papa punya cannot be seen as this. Even the Nayayikas accept that. And it is called apurva. I mean, it cannot be seen. But how can you use this pronoun for that? So Bhashyakara explains here. He says, Ayam iti apratyakshopi dharma karyena tat prayuktena pratyakshena vapadishyate. He says, so you cannot see dharma directly, papa punya directly, but you can understand them from their effects, he says. So their effects are pratyaksha, that you experience. Whether good fortune or ill fate, whatever it is, you are experiencing that. So through that you are anyway seeing it. Therefore, this dharma, like that, it is being denoted. So ayam dharma iti pratyakshavat, he says. It is as though pratyaksha, it says ayam dharma, this dharma. Okay, further what? Dharmascha vyakhyatah. So dharma was talked about here also, correct? When we talked about, in fact, the even among the Devata Srishti and all was talked about in the first chapter. And in that, the Chatur Varna is talked about even amongst Devatas. So the Brahmana Varna Srishti, the Kshatriya Varna Srishti and all is talked about. And then in the context of the Kshatriyas, the Kshatriyas can be, they are all power, correct? If power goes to somebody's head, is a problem. We are also experiencing it right now in war and all that. That is why dharma is also created, keep the Kshatriyas under hold. Like this and all, interestingly, we saw, I don't know whether you remember till now. So that Bhashyakara is again recollecting here. He says, Dharmascha Vyakhyataha, dharma was already talked about. Okay. Shruti Smriti Lakshanaha, whatever is characterized, whatever is said in the Shruti and Smriti, right? Characterized by what is said in Shruti and Smriti, that is dharma for us. And Kshatradinam api niyanta, the one which is actually, even the Kshatriyas are actually controlled by this dharma. And Jagataha Vaichitriya Krit, and dharma is the one which makes this variegated world what it is. Of course, each and every one's Punya Papa also contributes to whatever they are experiencing. That's why the world also has to be so big and so much variety is there. So dharma is the reason for all the taratamya. So there is another question: why there is good, why there is evil, why somebody is poor, why somebody is born with a silver spoon and all that thing. We have to say dharma, karma, all that are same, correct? Same thing. So dharma is the vaichitriya krit, prithivyaadinam parinama hetutva. Also, it is the hetu for this entire Prithvi itself to be modified or born in this manner. Okay. And prani bihi anuttiyamana rupascha, and dharma is the one which everybody also in their conduct also it is there. Correct? They are all people are, whether you do dharma or adharma, both are possible. Here dharma means both are included really. So it also manifests in your conduct, in everybody's conduct in fact. So Tena cha ayam dharma iti pratyakshena vyapadeshaha. In fact, that last one, it is manifesting in your conduct, in your activities. Based on that only, it is called ayam dharma, like as though it is pratyaksha. Bhashyakara says, okay, the rest of the things we will see next week. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you, Guruji.